It's
Oh, yeah.
Mohanji who's the
Okay,
host.
okay.
Okay. Okay.
Just check.
Okay.
Done, done.
Done? Okay.
Yeah,
So
It is live.
I did not get any code, right? That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. It is live.
Actually,
It's live already. So we
Yes,
can
sir.
start
Yes.
with regular course. त्यागी साहब से शुरू करें. Shall we start?
Yeah, we could start. Is Mir Bhai joined?
he hasn't joined yet. I'm still following up with him, but I think we can begin since he's the last panelist. It should be okay.
Fine.
sir, so we can start now, right, sir?
Yes, Somme. Yes,
Yeah,
Mohan.
I think so. Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, okay. Good afternoon, esteemed guests, speakers, and participants. It is an honor to welcome you to this special event jointly organized by the South Asian Meteorological Association, SAMA, and the Humanitarian Observatory Initiative of South Asia, HOISA. In observance of World Meteorological Day 2025, this year's theme, Closing the Early Warning Gap Together, and SAMA and HOISA jointly focusing on extreme heat, highlighting the urgency of strengthening preparedness and collaboration across our regions. To begin, I would like to invite Air Vice Marshal Professor Dr. Ojit Tyagi, President of South Asian Meteorological Association, to deliver his welcome address. Sir, you are welcome.
Thank you, Mohan, and a very good afternoon. It's a matter of great honor and privilege to extend warm welcome to all our distinguished participants. I see all key figures of the South Asian region attending this particular important webinar. This webinar assumes significance on two counts. One is that this marks the 75th anniversary of the WMO formation on 23rd April 1950, and it also is the 150th year of IMD, which we celebrated on 15 January. So great coincidence. Also, if you look at the background of World Meteorological Organization, as early as 1830s to 70s, need for international cooperation to exchange the weather was felt, and the International Meteorological Organization was formed in 1873. Now, this was a non-governmental organization, but that did make a significant contribution to the growth of meteorology in that period. But soon it was realized that it has got limitations, and it led to the formation of World Meteorological Organization, a specialized agency of the UNO, which now has got 193 members. It's doing a great service by promoting international cooperation, exchange of weather information, promoting science, training, and its application for the societal good and safety. As a part of this international cooperation, the regional cooperation assumes very great significance. And in this respect, the India has been taking a lead role. We have been the member of the WMO right from the day it started, and also been a member of its Executive Council. And this year we have a third Vice President of WMO from India, our Director General, Dr. Mohapatra, who will be delivering today's chief guest address. So this is a matter of great pride for all of us, and we are contributing. As far as the regional cooperation is concerned, this webinar is organized jointly by two South Asian agencies, SAMA and HOISA, and also we have an expert from climate action in South Asia, Dr. Uprety, regional corporations, and we're also working with various regional like SALNET, SASCOF, SAFOM, which deals with agriculture. So regional cooperation in South Asia is the primary activities of all of us, and that way the regional cooperation for the early warning action, which the Secretary General will cover in detail in his opening message, is very important. It's not only the safety of the population, but also the climate change impacts which are going to have its impact on the economic sustainability of the region. So we have to develop our regional cooperation and also promote capacity building in the region to effectively make full use of early warning. There has been significant improvement in early warnings, as I'm sure will be brought out by Dr. Mohapatra, and especially as far as the extreme heat is concerned. Well, we have the early warnings, which will be covered by Dr. Naresh Kumar, Dr. Mavalankar, who is I must say, is the father of heat action plan in South Asia. We started at Ahmedabad, and also we have Dr. Uprety, who will be talking about the action on heat waves. So we have got very eminent panelists today to cover this important topic, the closing of early warning gap. And also it will be summarized by Dr. Veer Bhai, who is eminent disaster management expert and carries out activities as far as the disaster management is concerned over South Asia and also internationally. So with these opening remarks, I once again thank all eminent panelists, especially Dr. Mohapatra. I know he's a very busy person and he could spare time today on WMO Day. So thank you so much. And he carries an extra responsibility as a third vice president also. And now we have an eminent panel also, and all participants, each one has been a figure in their own respect in their countries and the regions. So thank you so much for joining today. Once again, I welcome all participants and thank all our panelists and the chief guest for participating in today's important webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Sir, for your enlightening welcome speech. Now it is time to hear a special message from Secretary General of World Meteorological Organization, Professor Celestio Saulo. So, please.
Close your right side screen. Yes, good.
Dear
Yes, good.
members, colleagues, friends, happy World Meteorological Day. Happy 75th anniversary of the World Meteorological Organization as the UN authoritative voice on weather, climate, and water. Today, and indeed for the whole of this year, we celebrate the contribution of WMO and its members to saving lives, serving society, and protecting our planet. The staff of National Meteorological and Hydrological Services are like doctors and nurses, working 24/7 to safeguard and promote public well-being. I would like to thank each and every one of you. We are more than just weather forecasters. Scientific data, information and services provided by the WMO community underpin decisions ranging from daily leisure activities to seasonal crop planting to long-term infrastructure investments. During the past 75 years, we have brought billions of dollars in added value to the global economy. We have saved billions more in averted economic losses from weather, climate, and water-related hazards. And we have saved hundreds of thousands of lives. Extreme weather and climate impacts are becoming more intense. We are seeing more frequent and intense heat waves, more devastating storms and floods, more rapidly intensifying tropical cyclones. Between 1970 and 2021, global reported economic losses from weather, climate, and water hazards were a staggering $4.3 trillion. More than 2 million people died. Economic costs continue to soar, but the death toll is falling. Quite simply, we are better at saving lives than ever before. Our top overriding priority is to ensure that early warning systems protect everyone, everywhere. The theme of this year's World Meteorological Day is therefore closing the early warnings gap together. At the halfway point of early warnings for all, we are proud to report progress. As of 2024, 108 countries report having some capacity for multi-hazard early warning systems. This is more than double the 52 countries in 2015. But we need to go further and we need to go faster. We must innovate together to scale up technologies, stand together to foster collaboration in countries, invest together to create, mobilize, and share resources. Early Warnings for All is now more than an initiative. It is a brand. It is an ambitious target, but we are determined to succeed. We are now expanding support to additional countries beyond the initial 30 focus countries. We are strengthening partnerships with bilateral and multilateral donors, development banks, and climate funds to boost resources and collaboration. We are enhancing regional capacity to ensure lasting impact. We are promoting ownership by placing countries in the driving seat. We are committed to boosting the power of prediction. Technological advances and artificial intelligence promise to revolutionize weather forecasting. But we must level the playing field and ensure that nobody is left behind. We must close the gaps in data and observations. The time is now. By acting now, investing and innovating together, we can fulfill the promise of early warnings for all. It is a human and moral imperative, and it makes economic sense. On a global scale, every dollar invested in early warnings is estimated to result in $9 in net economic benefits. In some regions, it's even higher. I therefore call upon governments worldwide to strengthen investments in national meteorological and hydrological services. This is key to national and international socio-economic development. To conclude, for the past 75 years, WMO has turned science into action for the global good. On this World Meteorological Day, let us reaffirm our commitment to a safer, more sustainable world. We owe it to our children. I thank you.
Next video.
Thank you. Thank you for nicely enjoying the message from WMO Secretary General. Following this video, we will enjoy another one. This is for early warning for all and science for action.
Did you know that we can see a disaster before it strikes? A storm before it hits? A flood before it rises? A heat wave before it burns? When we see it, we can act. We can trigger warnings, prepare communities, secure livelihoods, and, most importantly, save millions of lives. That's what early warnings do. They turn the unseen into the known. They turn danger into action, threats into survival. Thanks to our joint work and data sharing, today we know that more people than ever are protected. A decade ago, only 52 countries reported having multi-hazard early warning systems. Today, that number has doubled to 108, but nearly half the world is still unprotected. And in an interconnected world, leaving millions behind has social, economic, and environmental consequences for everyone, everywhere. If we want a safer, more prosperous future, ensuring universal access to early warnings isn't just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. Because if we work together to advance early warnings, our work will pay off. Every dollar invested in early warnings saves on average $10 in avoided losses. Investing in early warning systems means fewer lives lost, fewer economies crippled, and billions saved on recovery efforts. That's why, as the World Meteorological Organization marks 75 years of progress, we're scaling up funding, innovation, regional collaboration, and sharing resources to close the early warning gap. Because early warnings aren't just about preventing disasters, they're about securing our future. We invest today, we protect tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind patience and hearing and enjoying the video. Now it is time for observe our organizational overview. First, I would like to request Professor Dr. Someshwar Das, sir, is the Secretary of SAMA, to present SAMA overview. After that, we will hear from the Khayal Trivedi for voice overview. Sir,
Thank
Someshwar,
you
sir.
very much, Dr. Mohan. Yeah, let me share my screen. Just a moment. Is my screen visible?
It's coming, sir.
Just a minute. Okay. Is it visible now properly?
Sir, perfect.
Okay, great. Thank you very much once again. This is regarding SAMA. Most of the members of SAMA, of course, are already familiar about it, except the recent activities, and especially all those who are watching for the first time about the SAMA, it will be an information for them. As you may know, SAMA was established on 3rd of August 2020 as a non-profit international scientific society. The WMO Secretary General, whom we have just now heard, hails SAMA's impactful contributions. She has written in a message that the Secretary General appreciated SAMA for its remarkable efforts in capacity building and training. This commendation recognizes SAMA's impactful work across 60 plus countries in South Asia and among non-aligned movement NAM member countries. Professor Salo particularly emphasized the exceptional collaborative initiatives undertaken by SAMA, which have significantly contributed to the advancement of meteorological understanding and practices in these regions. Well, as you know, SAMA is a non-profit scientific society of 9 South Asian countries, including Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Myanmar, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, engaged in promoting regional cooperation in the field of meteorology and allied sciences. Our vision is sharing knowledge of weather and climate without borders. And our mission is meteorology for the sustainable development of the region. SAMA is registered as a non-profit international scientific society in India. Well, our objectives are foster interaction amongst professionals working in meteorology and allied fields in South Asia, advancement of meteorological and allied sciences in South Asia, applications of meteorology and allied sciences for the sustainable development of the region, communicate knowledge of climate change and extreme weather events to the public through citizen science and outreach programs, and promote public, private, and academia partnership for the promotion of the meteorology and its societal applications. Well, as of today, we have total about 730 members, including all the countries, out of which about 454 are live members, and about 276 are our student members. And here we have given the breakups from each country, how many members are there, both live member as well as the student members. We have got knowledge partners as of today is 17, including EC Mode, RHYMES, the NAM Centric Center, that is a Non-Aligned Movement Science and Technology Center, Shaseni, that is South and Southeast Asia Network of Environmental Education, SHAFOM is South Asian Forum for Agriculture Meteorology, SALNET is the South Asian Lightning Network, SAHIN is South Asian Heat and Health Information Network, SRM-IST is University in Chennai, CDAC is Center for Development of Advanced Computing in Pune, BIT Mesra, as you know, is a well-known institute. ACAR, KUSAT is the Advanced Center for Atmospheric Radar Research at Cochin University of Science and Technology. We recently conducted 5 months lecture series in collaboration with them. Department of Meteorology at Dhaka University, Bangladesh. CDHM is the Central Department of Hydrology and Meteorology at Tribhuvan University, Kathmandu, Nepal. Then Savitribai Phule, Pune University. NOAMI is National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Marine Institute, right, at Bangladesh. FERCC is the Foundation of Education and Research in Climate Change in India. And HOESA, of course, shortly our colleague Mr. Khayal will be presenting about the activities of HOESA. SAMA has got 7 scientific committees, including education and outreach, numerical weather prediction, satellite meteorology, radar meteorology, air pollution, climate change, and mountain meteorology. Some of the major activities that we have conducted till now are like we have conducted total about 101 since its establishment on 3rd of August 2020. And we are happy, or whatever you can say, that now all these activities we have conducted without any funding support from anywhere at zero budget. We conduct webinars, training, workshops, capacity building programs, lecture series. We conducted so far 4 lecture series. First was on atmospheric physics for 4 months, in which 2,000 participants from 48 countries registered. Then we conducted WRF modeling training series in collaboration with the CDAC, that is the Center for Development of Advanced Computing in Pune. Then we conducted 5 months lecture series on satellite meteorology, in which 1,800 people registered from 59 countries. We conducted recently 6 months lecture series on radar meteorology, in which 1,200 participants registered from 48 countries. And presently, our 5th lecture series on atmospheric dynamics and its applications to climate sciences is going on. Already 10 lectures are over, and it's about 6.5 months course. 1,145 people have registered from 51 countries for this atmospheric dynamics lecture series. We celebrate special days like WMO Day. We are doing that today, Ozone Day, etc. We conduct quiz contests for school children, and to our happiness, our first quiz contest on Ozone Day was in which more than 22,000 children, school children from all these countries participated. It was a grand success. We also conduct a special lecture series on the works of the Nobel laureates. Recently, in fact, 2 years ago, you might have heard that the first Nobel Prize in atmospheric science, meteorology, was given, and we conducted a lecture or a webinar on the Nobel laureates about what they have done, which led them to win the Nobel Prize in this field. We also publish newsletters every 6 months. And these highlighted countries are the countries from where now the people registered for our lecture series. As I've said already, about 2,000 people from 60 plus countries registered for our past courses. We also have established an award for the students to encourage the students, the so-called Sama Championship Award for the students, for the student who contributes maximum to the activities of Sama. In the last 1 year, we give them the Sama Championship Award. And we are present in various social medias, like we have got the website, we are present in Twitter, we are present on Facebook. We are also having a YouTube through which this program is being live streamed right now. All the videos and webinars and also the lectures conducted in the past are all available on the YouTube channel of Sama. We've got a strong WhatsApp group of live members and also the student members. We are also present on the LinkedIn. These are some of the highlights of the future programs in progress, like trainings on atmospheric dynamics is already ongoing, as I said. And afterwards, we are planning to conduct a lecture series on data assimilation, air pollution, climate change, etc. We are going to explore funding resources also for conducting regional programs, offline, that is physical workshops, training programs, etc. Encouraging the member countries to establish country-wide chapters of Sama. Already Bangladesh and Nepal have in principle established the country chapters for Sama Bangladesh and Sama Nepal, and other countries are also in the process. Conducting need-based training workshops for the member countries to improve their meteorological and hydrological services. Explore the possibility of partnership with more regional agencies in addition to ISTIMO, DRIMES, NAMI, Center, etc. Develop linkage of Sama with other international agencies in this field, such as IIPH, that is the International Federation of Meteorological Society, EMS, that is the European Meteorological Society, WMO, that you already know. Developed regional research projects, to develop research projects of regional interest, mentorship to young researchers and students by senior scientists of this region, work with NMHS, that is National Meteorological and Hydrological Services, regional associations and civil society in promoting applications of meteorology for public safety and social benefit. Societal applications like climate change, agriculture, aviation, energy sector. Engage private sector in promoting application of new technologies in instrumentation and software in meteorology. So thank you so much for your attention. Over to you, Dr. Mohan.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Somasya Darsar, for your nice and very important overview. And within a very short time, how many activity already been done by Sama? Now I would like to request Khayal Trivedi to give an overview of the HOISA.
Thank you very much, Mohanji, and hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And also thank you so much, Dr. Someshi, for presenting those activities. It's quite impressive what Sama has achieved in a very short period of time with such a little budget. So congratulations to you. And talking about HOISA, which is Humanitarian Observatory Initiative of South Asia, just to give you a bit of a background, I think in 2023, we became together some practitioners to discuss that there's a need in the world to relook at the humanitarian systems that we're having currently. And we need to relook at these systems from different viewpoints. So different actors and different stakeholders will look at the system differently. And the idea was to then create these observatories which proliferated around the world to look at their respective regions as to analyze, observe, and generate recommendations as to what can be achieved in that particular field. So starting from that point in 2023, HOISA came in together. I'm quickly going to share my screen. Just a moment. I think you can see my screen now.
Yeah.
Great. So that's the HOISA's
perfect.
website. That's the HOISA's website. And the idea was that in 2023, we came together to create a Humanitarian Observatory Initiative of South Asia, which specifically looks at observing humanitarian systems in South Asia. And in terms of activities and in terms of the shape of the network, it's essentially a network of different actors, stakeholders, practitioners in the humanitarian sectors working within South Asia, but also outside, constantly dealing with subjects in South Asia. And so in terms of its activities, we come together every month to discuss a variety of subjects, starting from heat waves to cyclones, to building coastal resilience, to talking about the use of artificial intelligence in humanitarian systems, also talking about refugee crisis that is happening. So what we're also trying to do with this observatory is to constantly link with different regions of the world, because now there are 17 observatories like HOISA, to learn from them and at the same time parallelly implement the same things within South Asia. And as people gather every time during these panel discussions, a set of recommendations are generated. And these recommendations then are shared in form of a blog article on the HOISA's website. So what we're also doing parallelly to these conversations that happen is to gather all the recommendations that come out and then publish them through us and through our partners in the Netherlands so that it reaches a wider audience. And the same kind of trickles down into the idea of creating an open library of resources for people to look at. Since we have dealt with so many subjects, every time we talk about a particular subject, we gather resources, publications, reports on evidence so that it reaches a wider audience. And the same, somehow I'm listening to my own voice, but that was strange. But anyways, now it's better. So the idea was that we're also right now creating this open source library of resources that you can access and then you can look into and learn. This is useful particularly for not just agencies and people working in the field, but also students and researchers who want to have access to these reports as a place to learn from. So I mean that's HOISA in a nutshell. Of course, I can also go into details about. We've done more than around 15 panel discussions so far with people joining from around the world, and the activities are only growing. We also look forward to, of course, collaborating with Sama more and more. So I will just quickly drop down this link of the resources page on the chat for you guys to look at. And please do look at the website. Please do join HOISA. Of course, it's not money oriented, so you don't have to pay anything. But the idea is that people who want to do something about what's happening currently in the world come together, just like Sama, and do it. So thank you so much for all your support. And back to you, Mohanji.
Thank you, Mr. Khayal Trivedi, for your very interactive HOISA overview. And maybe it is first time for many of us. Hopefully, it will be a very good opportunity to do more joint activity. Now it is time to introduce our today's chief lead speaker, Dr. Mohapatra sir. So I would like to request Chatushka Pramachandra, Senior Meteorologist of Sri Lanka, Department of Meteorology, Sri Lanka, to introduce today's chief guest. Chatushka, please.
Hello, good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. M. Mohapatra to this stream event. Dr. M. Mohapatra is currently the Director General of Meteorology in the Meteorological Department. He was elected third Vice President of WMO by the 90th World Meteorological Congress in 2023. With over the experience of meteorology and disaster risk reduction, he had led modernization of early warning systems, significantly improving forecast accuracy and reducing human death per cyclone since 2023. His leadership during cyclone Bipra achieved zero. He also contributed to many WMO activities, including Tropical Cyclone Program and Severe Weather Forecasting Program. He also worked as a chairman and the expert members of the many WMO committees. He also recognized with Certificate of Merit for Atmospheric Mr. Mohapatra's research focuses on tropical cyclone, early warning system, and disaster impacts. He had published over 165 research papers and contributed to development of he has published over 165 research papers and contributed to the development of impact-based forecasting and risk-based warning. Thank you.
Thank you, Chatushka, for nice introduction of today's chief guest and keynote speaker. Now I'd like to request renowned authority of meteorology and cyclone man of South Asian region, Dr. Mrutyunjay Mohapatra. Sir, you are welcome, please. Could you please stop the sharing screen?
Mohan, you stop sharing screen.
Chatushka, please stop sharing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 So good afternoon, namaskar to all of you. Is it visible?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Is it moving?
yes.
Yes, perfect.
So thank you very much. I extend warm greetings to all the distinguished participants on this auspicious occasion of World Meteorological Day. As all of us know that this year World Meteorological Day is being celebrated with the theme of closing early warning gap together. And this symposium, which is being organized by South Asia Meteorological Association, is a demonstration of the activation of the theme. We have gathered here from different parts of South Asia to address the gaps in early warning system in the region, and the requirements for that can be chalked out, and we can march forward in our journey to fill up the gaps for achieving the completely local specific early warning system for each and every severe weather event affecting South Asia. Before I proceed further, I express my deep gratitude to Sama for giving an opportunity to speak on this auspicious occasion. Especially expressing deep gratitude to Professor Ajit Tyagi, former Director General of India Meteorology Department, for his best wishes and his initiative. And also express my deep gratitude to Dr. Somesh and others steering Sama to this achievement. So in my presentation today, I'll just bring out certain aspects of early warning system in the South Asia, where we stand and what further we can do together. So if you just look at South Asia, it's confronted with various types of weather systems, leading to severe weather hazards. You will find that the biggest severe weather systems which affect South Asia are the monsoon circulations, monsoon low pressure systems, depressions, and the cyclones developing in the pre-monsoon and the post-monsoon seasons. Nevertheless, there are other weather systems like, say, western disturbances, which affects the northern parts of the country, leading to cold wave, fog, heavy rainfall, and snowfall. Also, we experience the easterly waves in the post-monsoon season in the southern part, affecting southern India, Sri Lanka, Maldives, and many others. We also experience the heat waves in the summer season, starting with March till June, sometimes in July. And it affects all the countries in South Asia in different phases. We also have the mesoscale severe weather events like thunderstorms, which affects all parts of South Asia. It kills people. While the number of deaths due to the large-scale weather systems has been reduced in the recent decade, the number of deaths due to the highly localized severe weather events like the thunderstorms, lightning, squalls, hailstorms have increased. And it has become a major concern, especially in view of the impact of the climate change, leading to increase in frequency and intensity of highly localized severe weather events. If we look at the status of disaster risk reduction in any part of the globe at present, you will find that a disaster occurs when we are not able to take actions either during the disaster or before the disaster or after the disaster. Therefore, worldwide, there has been the various mechanisms to reduce the disaster risk by taking the actions during pre-disaster, disaster, and post-disasters. Not only the actions, but also there has been the policies. Every nation has certain policies. We may say national policy, the National Disaster Management Act, and the National Disaster Management Plans, national guidelines, and finally the institutional mechanism. You need an institutional mechanism to carry out various early actions or anticipatory actions during, before, and after the disasters. And to carry out those actions, you need the policy plans, guidelines, and institutional mechanism. So while speaking of the various aspects of the disaster management or disaster risk reduction, the first and foremost component comes the multi-hazard early warning system. Then there are the preparedness, preventions, and mitigation aspects or the risk reduction aspects. But you will find that without the multi-hazard early warning system, all the aspects of the disaster risk reduction become less effective. If there is a good multi-hazard early warning system in a country, it can, to a large extent, minimize loss of lives and property. And especially when you consider a socio-economically poor region like South Asia or Southeast Asia, you will find that the multi-hazard early warning system becomes more effective. You cannot change the structure of the house overnight, but you can improve the early warning system overnight. The expenditure towards improvement of early warning system is far less as compared to the structural measures required for disaster risk reduction. Just now you have listened to the speech of Secretary General, how the investment of $1 can save the $10. So therefore, the objective of the South Asia should be to develop the multi-hazard early warning system, which can be utilized during, before, and after disasters for all phases of preparedness, prevention, risk reductions. So I want to say that South Asia has come a long way. For example, India, now we are almost self-reliant with respect to weather and climate services in terms of contributing to economy, development of system and infrastructure, socio-economic applications, and disaster risk reductions. You will find that the forecast which is being utilized by the South Asia and developed by India Meteorological Department, the accuracy is at par with the leading centers in the world. And I was telling that national policy plans and guidelines are almost in place in most of the countries of the South Asia. And if not there, it can be developed, and we are happy to partner with that. Now, when you consider the components of disaster risk reduction, I was telling that the first and foremost component comes the hazard and risk analysis, followed by the preparedness, early warning, prevention, and mitigation. But when you consider the components of early warning system, it starts with the detection, or you can say analysis and prediction. So we should have a good system which is capable to detect each and every severe weather, to collect the data from the in-situ observations or remote sensed observations. We should have a platform to analyze, and also we should have models to predict. And after the prediction of models, the forecast should be generated utilizing a decision support system. And thereafter, we have to go for the impact-based forecast and risk-based warning by assessing the hazards, vulnerability, exposure, and finally, the risk. Once you complete that, you have to go for the warning generations, product presentations, and warning disseminations. Simultaneously, you have to go for coordination with emergency response. Then, of course, you should have regular review, pre-season review, post-season review, pre-event review, post-event review, and public education reaching out. So, while all these aspects are available in many leading countries, but still, as you have listened now, there are many countries, especially the least developed countries and the small island nations, where we do not have the early warning systems. And when you talk of the early warning systems, as a little earlier presented, the first and foremost step comes from the historical knowledge. If you've got long-term data about the risk or about the hazard or about their characteristics, then you can have a disaster risk knowledge. Risk knowledge is very much essential to improve your forecast, to be able to provide the impact-based forecast for any region. There are a lot of limitations in South Asia. I know that because of the hilly regions, we have the Great Himalayas. Also, we have got the Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea, the data sports region. Also, we have got various deserts. We have got the hill ranges. So therefore, it becomes very difficult to have the observations without the infrastructure. We have got remote sense observations like the satellites, and India has the INSAT series. We have got the data for a long period. Whatever data we have got, whether directly received or the remotely received data, we should analyze and find out the risk based on the hazard and vulnerability and exposure conditions on the past historical data. If you get a past historical data, that will form the first stage to assess the risk on the real time. The second one comes the real-time observations, monitoring, predictions, analysis, and forecasting the hazards that every national meteorological and hydrological services are carrying out. We've come up a long way, but still there are gaps. As I was telling you, because of this data sparse region and remotely sensed area, it becomes very difficult to have the ground truth. So more and more, we should utilize the remotely sensed data. We have got the satellites, we have got the radars, but it needs the technology. It needs the investment. Unless the National Meteorological Services invest in improving the observational infrastructure, we cannot go for improving the hazard forecasting or early warning. But however, there is a coordination mechanism available with WMO's intervention. There is a cascading process. There are global centers, there are regional centers, there are national meteorological centers. All are coordinating with each other, trying to provide the best possible information for the hazard monitoring and forecasting. But still, we have to go a long way. And preparedness and response capabilities, the capacity building is very much essential. There will be continuous training. There will be continuous training of not only the forecasters, but also the various sectoral applications, units, the stakeholders, and even the general public. Once you have got the forecast generated or running generated, test to be communicated, and therefore the communication plays a dominant role. And there are many countries where you do not have even a reliable internet facilities. People are not able to receive the data from the global centers or regional centers to utilize on day-to-day basis. There are issues with respect to even the power, the availability of power, availability of communication lines, and availability of the people who are capable to utilize the communication lines or maintain the communication lines. But however, the communication is very important, and we should have dedicated early warning communication system for risk information, and people by that way, they can receive the information from the National Meteorological Services. But communication does not stop there. Communication means we should also understand the warning properly. The warning should be developed in such a way that it triggers action by each and every person or each and every sector. So therefore, it should be very clear and usable. So 3 points come to our mind. One is that the accuracy. The forecast accuracy should be good. Reasonably, it should be accurate. We cannot expect that forecast will be 100% correct, but it should be reasonably accurate. And that accuracy comes from augmentation of observational systems and modeling systems. The second point comes the accessibility. The products, the forecast warning products will generate in such a way that it is accessible to the people, it is accessible to stakeholders and users. The third point is that the forecast products should be generated in such a way that it is actionable. If I develop some forecast product, but the person is not able to interpret and not able to take any action, it is not triggering an action, then again it becomes useless. So 3 A's we have to remember while dealing with these knowledge partners, developers, stakeholders, early warning service providers, or the disaster managers. But however, we have to ensure a value chain, that is weather observations, modeling, forecasting, weather warning, sectoral applications. And to support this value chain, you need research and development and technology. I thank SAMA for conducting various training programs for knowledge exchange, knowledge transfer, and also the technology transfer. If you just take the entire value chain system, it starts with observations, various types of observations taken with respect to surface, satellite, radar, automated stations, balloons, release the sensors. And then, of course, you have got the specific observations with respect to aviation, ship, or buoys, etc. All these observations are integrated and collected in a single platform. Various means are there, like Global Telecommunication System. Now it is WIS, WMO Information System. Once the data are gathered, you should have a digital platform. In the digital platform, data can be analyzed, it can be interpreted, it can be overlaid, so that you can find out the genesis, evolution, decay, and structures of the various weather systems on real-time basis. Hence, you can come to know about the current status of the ocean, atmosphere, and land. At the same time, all these data are fed into numerical representational models with high-performance computing system to generate the model forecast. Once you have the model forecast, this model forecast is not usable by the people. It has to be converted into the public weather service. That means you have to convert it into a special bulletin, text, graphics, or now it is QGIS or web-enabled GIS, where people can understand well and take action based on this one. So therefore, the entire chain finally ends with the stakeholders and the public who utilize all information, starting with observations and the forecast. And nowadays, as I told you earlier, it is the impact-based forecast and risk-based warning. So while ensuring all these things, you have to take care of the seamless forecasting strategy. We should have a forecast starting with the season, followed by the month, then followed by the weeks, then followed by the days, and then followed by the hours. And you can say seasonal forecast, external forecast, short-term forecast, nowcast, etc. So you will be happy to know that in this Southeastern region, we have a seamless weather forecasting system which caters to the requirement of the South Asia. So we'll show that a little earlier. As I mentioned that this is the need of any developed early warning system or early warning agency. Now, this is a little in a better manner. What are the various types of models available in South Asia, which are made available by India Meteorological Department and Minister of Earth Sciences? We have multi-models. You will find that for each spatial range, whether it's nowcasting, also you've got different models. The short range, also you've got different models. Medium range, also you've got different models. Extended range and seasonal range. Then what is the way forward? How can you utilize different models to provide the forecast? Just like models differ, just like vectors differ, models also differ from each other. So a good forecaster does not depend upon only one model. You have to utilize a multi-model ensemble. So what we do actually for Southeastern region, we have developed a multi-model ensemble for each and every severe weather event, and it is made available from our website. And as when any individual member requests, we also provide the information bilaterally. So if you just look at to carry out all these aspects of the early warning system or multi-hazard early warning system, one should have a DSS. And this is in nutshell the indigenous DSS developed by India to provide the forecast and multi-hazard advisory, impact-based forecast advisory, and risk-based advisory to South Asia. We have got a meteorological information and communication system, then data inference processing system, then synthesized integrated visualization system, that is a platform where we visualize all observations and model guidance, compare, comprehend, and analyze. Also, we've got a climatological database. As you know that the undivided India has got a lot of data. We came into existence in 1875. So all this data is digitized. At least from 1901 onwards, we have digitized data, and we utilize those digitized data to find out the various climatological guidance, be it cyclones or depressions, or be it low pressure systems, or be it heavy rainfall, be it temperature, or rainfall or wind. You have got a climatological database which can be utilized as a first guess to provide your guidance, and this can be provide you for your preparedness and planning purposes. Then, of course, we have weather information forecasting system, then public weather information system. Now, this is the final product, that is the multi-hazard impact-based forecast risk-based warning. I'm showing an example for India, and it is being developed for the entire South Asia also. So what we do actually in impact-based forecasting, we convert the weather information to the response scenarios. That means weather information is converted weather translation and impact estimation, then response scenarios. To do that, weather analysis and forecast data, what we get from the observations, that we find out in a digital platform. We go for geospatial interpolation. Geospatial maps are generated for each and every severe weather and each and every weather parameter. From there, with the overlaying of the digital elevation models, with overlaying of the primary hazard, second hazard, tertiary hazard, etc., you can find out extraction of the relevant informations. Then we go for the situation context. So, for example, if I'm giving a forecast for say 10 centimeter rainfall for Kathmandu, and I am giving say 10 centimeter rainfall say for Jaipur in Rajasthan, the impact will be completely different. So Kathmandu is a hill station and Jaipur is a plain station, is a desert station. So while giving the impact forecast for these two, I have to take into consideration the situational context. Of course, both are the highly populated cities, but still there are physiographical differences. There will be differences with respect to infrastructure. There will be differences with respect to population. There will be difference with respect to roads, rails, or bridges, etc. So situational context you have to. Therefore, for this purpose, you need socioeconomic data. So you need geospatial data, you need socioeconomic data, you need meteorological hazard data, and then secondary hazards like geophysical hazards, or the flood hazards, or landslide hazards, and many more. Then you prepare the risk and economic mitigation strategies are prepared. So therefore, as a forecast, you may feeling that weather data are very high requirement. As a disaster manager, you find that it is not simply weather information, but also there are many other information required. And therefore, I have just shown you two wedges. One is the green wedge, the other one is the yellow wedge. Here you can find out weather impact user and weather information provider. So what you find that when these two wedges will merge with each other, then it will be a rectangle, and you will have completely dynamic, composite risk assessment for any type of severe weather. So these are the requirements. You should have the climatology and hazard forecast informations. Then you should have supplementary information about the hazard maps, digital elevations, etc. So what I want to say that you are starting with the seasonal outlook, then you are going to the nowcasting or extended forecasting, then mid-range forecasting, then nowcasting. You need for information about the exposure condition like populations, agriculture, energy, health, water, etc. Then you can assess the vulnerability. Then you will go for potential impact assessment. The risk hotspots is to be identified based on the past data and also on real-time data. Then people exposed and potential impacts on agricultural, energy, health, and water sector can be found out. So what we want to say that we have done it for India, and I am willing to handhold if anyone wants to do the climatological hazard analysis based on the past data, and also real-time hazard analysis, which can be carried out in different parts of the South Asia. Now, when I look at the support provided by India with respect to South Asia, basically it deals with the observational support, then modeling support, and then we have got services support, then capacity building, research and development, scientific support, and technical support. So going little better, a little more specifically, you'll find that we carry out the policy planning and management, the disaster risk reduction. We act as RSMC for tropical cyclones, RSMC for severe weather forecast program. Then we act at TCASC, that is Tropical Cyclone Advisory Center for advisory as per requirement of International Civil Aviation Organization for the Asia Pacific and the Middle East. It includes South Asia. Then we've got the Global Maritime Distress Safety System Center for providing guidance for maritime area, that is high sea shipping, etc. We've got the Marine Emergency Response and Search and Rescue Operations Center here to provide guidance for, say, for oil leaking or something else. Then Marine Pollution Emergency Response System. Then we have got the Maritime Climatology. We have developed based on past data. Coalition for Disaster Risk Reduction Infrastructure, that is CDRI. International support to Solar Alliance. Then, because we provide a solar energy potential and also wind energy potential based on the climatology data. WMO's early warning for all. Here we are the peer advisor for the 5 countries. We have a regional climate center, guidance for South Asia, global greenhouse gas watch for the region, because we have got the climate reference station in Uttarakhand. We have got capacity building system, then modeling support, data communication for the entire South Asia. So I'll just go one example. As for example, you know that India acts as one of the 15 global information system center, that is GISC, for exchange of observational data across the globe. We collect all the data from the region and exchange it from outside to the region, each country from this center. So we have got the various types of data, surface, upper air. This is the decision support system. I'm just showing one where we collect this data and that are shared with all the countries through GTS and with systems. So this is the satellite which India Meteorology Department utilizes not only from INSAT series of satellites, but also from the polar orbiting satellites in the country and outside. Under the mechanism of the coordinated group of meteorological satellites, we have the access of data towards all the satellites from outside. And all these satellites data are utilized in the modeling system and models are run. And number two, also we put off the foreign satellite data in our IMD website. The username and password are provided to all the member countries of South Asia. We also have a tool, GIS-based tool that is called RAPID. And with the RAPID, you can have very location-specific information about the satellite, like the reflectivity or the temperature, cloud top temperature, or the brightness temperature. You can find out the time series. You can find out the area of convections. You can find out the area of fog, anything, a lot of information. So I'll urge upon every one of you, please visit RAPID. It is a geospatial platform. You can find radar data embedded with it. You can find a model data embedded with it. And it helps a lot to monitor real-time the severe weather informations. Now, this is the radar system. You can find out that we have at present 40 radars in the country. It covers the areas in Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, and also it covers the neighboring countries. So it helps the other countries also, those are adjacent to India by the establishment of radars. And we are going to establish total 126 radars by the end of 2026. At present of 40, already order is there for 33. We'll have the 73 radars. And then another 53 radars are being purchased under the scheme Mission Mosam. And so this is the benefit by which all countries can avail of. All the radar products are available in the freely accessed website. And if someone is desirous of any data required for this particular country, that also we can think of. Now, let us come to the real-time support with respect to forecasting. This is the seasonal forecasting. We provide a seasonal forecast with respect to rainfall and temperature for every month and every season for South Asia. And this new scheme has been introduced in 2021, where we do not give only one figure, but we provide the entire forecast for the entire region, South Asia. So I'll just show you one example. This is the forecast for India. And this is the Regional Climate Outlook Forum, through which we provide this SASCO, that is South Asia Climate Outlook Forum. It goes to Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Myanmar, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. And these are specially meant for water and agriculture. We conduct training for interpretation of this climate outlook, which is issued every month and every season. So this is just an example of the seasonal climate outlook for South Asia for December 2024 to March 2025. So you can find out the various products. You can find out rainfall, you can find out temperature, you can find out cyclogenesis, you can find out El Nino, you can find out MJO, you can find out Indian Ocean Dipole. So many informations with the catering towards the large scale processes and regional processes are predicted under this scheme. So this is another example of the extended range forecast for cyclogenesis over the Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. It is provided for next 4 weeks. And similarly, you can find on the right hand side, you can find a rainfall anomaly for the entire region, including South Asia and North Indian Ocean. So this is another example what we provide on the medium range, that is the model forecast from various models. We have got the global forecast system, GFS, then global ensemble forecast system, then we have got NCMR-WF unified model, the NCMR-WF ensemble prediction system, then we have got the multi-model ensemble. Multi-model ensemble guidance is also provided for the South Asia. And you know that all these medium range forecasts are available up to 10 days. Now, apart from that, each country also we requested, if you want any meteogram for your region, we can provide a meteogram. These are the 491 station meteogram are being provided for South Asia as per requirement of the individual members. And in the middle, you can find out, this is the another example of GFS model. Like that, we provide different model guidances. So this is the short range forecast. You can WRF is run here for the entire RSMC region, and forecast products are generated. Meteograms also generated. On right hand side is an example of meteogram for PI, Myanmar, based on 0 UTC of 11 January 2025. So like this, we have gone one step further. You need not request us. You just go to our website, go to the Mosam Gram, or we say it, in Hindi, Har Har Mausam, Har Ghar Mausam. The objective is to provide a platform to the forecasters and the disaster managers to find out, or any public, where you can click on the map and find out the forecast up to 10 days at that location. So if you know the latitude, longitude of the place where you want a forecast, please enter latitude and longitude, you will get a forecast. It is available for entire South Asia, available for Bay of Bengal, available for Arabian Sea. The forecast goes for 10 days at any time. The hourly forecast provided up to 24 hours, then 3 hourly forecast is provided, then 24 hours to 5 days, and then every 6 hourly forecast from 5 days to 10 days. And is updated twice in a day. Right hand side, this is just an example of the location forecast for the latitude 35.68 degree north and longitude 74.90 degree east. Can you just imagine? No country is doing like this except India. Of course, ECMWA provides this type of meteogram, but this is based on one model, whereas here it is based on a multi-model ensemble. You can see on the bottom diagram here the minimum about 5 to 7 models which we have. Based on that, we provide forecast. And finally, the consensus objective forecast is provided for each location. So this is the cyclone forecast for 13 countries. It goes, you know that extended range forecast is issued for every Thursday, valid for next 2 weeks. It's just an example what we saw here for the cyclone Mocha, how it helped in Bangladesh and Myanmar, and it was appreciated worldwide. This is an example of the cyclone Mocha. Black line is the actual track and red line is the forecast track. And you will be happy to know that here we are providing forecast from pre-genesis stage. That means before the genesis of the depression, forecast track is provided, because we know that our area is very small and time period may be very less for the disaster managers. So therefore, we took this decision. For last 3 years, from 2022 onwards, we are providing pre-genesis track and intensity forecast. That is with the formation of lower well-marked coastal area. Forecast is provided about the track and intensity, the quadrant winds, etc. So this is an example of the track provided for cyclone Mocha. So these are the various types of services being provided with respect to the region. So one is that GMDSS, I was talking about that. Then we have got Regional Special Meteorological Center for Tropical Cyclones, TCAC for International Civil Aviation, then RSMC for Severe Weather Forecasting Program, South Asia, Emergency Response, Marine Pollutions, Maritime Climatology, and Regional Meteorological Training Centers. Now, this is the example of the GMDSS bulletin we provide. It started in 1966. So these advisories are issued twice daily and 5 times during cyclone period. So outcome is that no loss to ships in recent decade and fishermen are not dying. You'll be happy to know that. And then this is one among the 7 centers in TCAC. This is the example of TCAC production right hand side. The textual message, the graphical message goes in PNG, it is in GTS. You can look at it in GTS and you can see it and visualize it in your system. So we act as TCAC and provide for entire region here. Then this is the fisherman warning. Earlier, fisherman warning was issued only for the Indian coast, that is up to 75 kilometers from the coastal line. But now, since 2018, I'll tell you, since 2018, we are providing fisherman warning for entire Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, and North Indian Ocean. So by that way, it helps every country in this region. All the maritime countries in this region is helped. And we provide warning in terms of the winds exceeding 45 kilometers per hour, the squally weather, and also we go for providing informations like the depression, cyclones, and low pressure systems. So fisherman warning commenced in 1953, and 2018 onwards, really it became global and regional. We are providing forecast for all the region. This is the storm surge. We provide storm surge guidance for all the countries also. But here there is certain limitations that we do not have digital elevation data for other countries. Therefore, with the conventional digital elevation data, we run our storm surge and coastal elevation model and provide guidance for all the countries. Earlier, we provided IITD, that is IIT Delhi storm surge model guidance. But now we are providing storm surge model guidance based on the coastal elevation modeling by INCOAS. We also provide the wave forecasting, etc. So finally, this one I just want to say, this is the severe weather forecast program where we provide the information with respect to the various severe weather events like heavy rainfall, say 5 centimeter, 10 centimeter. We provide the waves, And we provide the storm surge, we provide the tropical cyclones, we provide the thunderstorms, induced winds over the region in different. So what we did is earlier we were providing information for different countries. We found that countries are very big region. It is not helping. So what we did actually, we divided into 95 meteorological subdivisions. As per the subdivisions of the country, 95 meteorological subdivisions, including Bay Area and Arabian Sea area. You can find out in the middle diagram here. And this information is being provided to Thailand, Myanmar, Bangladesh, India, Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Pakistan, every day, valid for the next 5 days. Another example you can see on the left-hand side. These are the informations on the right. In the middle, what you see here, this is the impact-based forecast and risk-based one. So based on the forecast, we have prepared a matrix, like the likelihood of occurrence based on threshold, and also the likelihood means probability we calculate based on multivariate ensemble, and also the impact, say 5 centimeter rainfall, 10 centimeter rainfall, 15 centimeter rainfall. Based on that, we prepare the color code according to scheme, green, yellow, orange, red. It is being provided. It is a guidance. It does not go to the public. It is a guidance for all the countries. Those who are not able to provide impact-based forecast, they can utilize this information and they can develop. We also provided a training for this purpose, and we are willing to help more and work more to improve this impact-based forecast and risk-based warning. It is a textual form, it is a graphics form, and also we are sending by email to the countries. For last year, we are providing email from 2024, email to the forecasters in all the countries. So this is the marine weather with respect to various severe weather like significant weather, wind, visibility, cloud cover, wave height. Surface humidity is also being provided for the marine area. Now, this is the fast for guidance, South Asia fast for guidance. We provide Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and India. And it includes observations, it includes various types of data. I think we will not discuss much, but I want to say that it is prepared for every 4 kilometer watershed. So therefore, it is highly localized information being provided to all the countries. Also, it is appreciated by all the countries. It is provided 3 times in a day. We provide 2 information. One is the risk, flash flood risk, valid for next 24 hours. Then flash flood threat, valid for next 6 hours. So this is the capacity building program. Yeah, I'm coming to conclusion. Yes, I'm coming to conclusion. So this is the capacity building program, and we conduct training for South Asia and Southeast Asia also every year under the background of the RSMC tropical cyclones, RSMC severe weather, and RSMC flash flood guidance, and of course RCC, Regional Climate Center. So if you talk about the future plans, etc., for the South Asia, I will say that whatever guidance we are providing at present, there has been more demand. As for the demand, we are planning now to provide guidance with respect to thunderstorms, dust storms, heat waves, and cold waves, forests or wildfires. By 2024, the demand has come, but we are working towards the directions. Sometimes during the next 2 years, we will have this service for this region. Feasibility study based on the requirement members and our capability is being taken into consideration. Current status through South Asia the forecast program to just look at, we provide forecast for all the meteorological hazards, etc. Some meteorological hazards are left out that we are planning for that. Then requirement is that global center, those who are supporting this region, they should also provide some guidance with respect to the new weather phenomena which is being demanded by South Asia. New technology, yes, AIML, IoT, dual engine concept, mission motion is coming up in India. All these will help gradually in future, but we have to work together. So current status of modeling is 12 kilometer global model, regional model 3 kilometer. We have to go for 1 kilometer regional model and 6 kilometer the global model. That is under the pipeline with the acquisition of the high performance computing system by India. I'm sure within a year or so, we'll have this type of modeling with high resolutions and better data assimilations. So we also plan to have more interaction among the NMHs, like online reporting and feedback, etc. We get some feedback and reporting, but still we have to improve that so that as a family we can work together to address all the severe weather events. Feedback and online reporting has to be developed further. Research and development and capacity building is the key to success of South Asia severe weather forecast program. And of course, the verification, documentation, and training, workshops, etc., will be key to achieve the success. So with this, I once again thank you for giving an opportunity to speak, and I'm open for any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Very inspiring and very time-demanding talk, and it is really important. Thank you, sir. Again, now I'd like to request everyone to switch on your video so we can take a screenshot, and it would be helpful for our newsletter and many others purposes also, and it would be a good memory for all of us also. So kindly, and I'd like to request the student team member to take a screenshot, please. Everyone, I would like to request again, please switch on your video.
There are 3 screens, so please cover all the 3 screens, okay?
Yes, yes. It's still, please. Ayan, please try to take a screenshot, and I think Deep also taking. Be ready. 3, 2, 1, click. This is for one. Again, please. Ready? 3, 2, 1, click. So it is done. I already shared screen. Ayan, have you taken?
No, sir, I can't.
also.
I'm using my phone.
Okay. I think I have taken. Just check. 1 minute. Okay, it is done. So it is time for panel discussion. Saifa and Fahim, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So can you see my slide?
Yes, sir. We can.
Okay, just a minute.
So,
So now I'd like to request our student team member, Saifa, to introduce today's panel members, Professor Dileep Mavalankar.
okay. Professor Dileep, we would like to welcome Professor Dileep Mavalankar, sir. Dr. Dileep Mavalankar is a distinguished public health expert and former director of the Indian Institute of Public Health, Gandhi Nagar, 2012 to 2023. He currently serves as the Distinguished Honorary Professor of Public Health at IIPH and the Vice President, Western Region of the Public Health Foundation of India. With over 3 decades of experience, Dr. Mavalankar has held key roles, including Dean at IIPH and faculty members at the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, where he chaired the Public System Group and the Center for Management of Health Services. His exceptional academic honors and awards are: he has received prestigious accolades, including the Paul Harper Award 1990 from Johns Hopkins School of Public Health, USA, the Hewlett Foundation Fellowship 1984, and National Science Talent Award 1975 from NCERT, New Delhi. He is a fellow of the Indian Meteorological Society 2019 and has recognized by the government of Odisha for his contribution to disaster management. He has served on high-level committees, including as member of the Gujarat State COVID Task Force, expert member of the Medical Technology Assessment Board, and the member of the Mission Steering Group at the National Rural Health Mission. His contribution to the public health and disaster management has earned commendation certificate and the media recognition through publication and documentaries. His research interest focuses on public health program management, particularly in reproductive health, maternal health, and health system strengthening. He has led projects on midwifery development, immunization, and capacity building for public health officers. He has published extensively in professional journals and authored book chapters on service management and health systems. Dr. Mavalankar holds MBBS in MD in Preventive and Social Medicine, MPH, and Dr. PH from Johns Hopkins School of Hygiene and Public Health, USA, and completed his postdoctoral fellowship at the National Institute of Health, USA.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I would like to request you again to introduce our second panelist, Professor Dr. Naresh Kumar.
Another panelist is Professor Dr. Naresh Kumar, who is currently a scientist at the Indian Meteorological Department, where he leads initiatives in weather forecasting, tropical cyclone monitoring, and numerical weather prediction. He is a nodal officer for multi-institutional forecasting demonstration projects on winter weather system and heat waves. His academic honors and awards includes a Certificate of Merit for Atmospheric Sciences for his outstanding contributions. His work has earned accolades from the Honorable Prime Minister of India and international agencies like the World Meteorological Organizations. His research interest focuses on Western disturbances, climate change in Himalayan region, and mountain waves. He has published over 65 research papers and contributed to 6 books or manuals. Finally, his education is from MSc in Applied Mathematics from IIT Mumbai and PhD in Mathematical Modeling of Orographic Waves from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi.
Thank you so much, Sadia Afrin Saifa Nagaban, for your nice introduction of our 2 panel members. Next, I would like to request Fahim. Fahim, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Yes,
okay,
sir.
So I would like to request you to introduce our another panel member, Dr. Dharam Raj. Please.
Now I'm introducing our another panelist, Dr. Dharam Raj, Practical Action South Asia, Nepal. His professional experiences, Dr. Dharam Raj is the thematic lead for climate and resilience at Practical Action South Asia in Kathmandu. With over 20 years of experience, he has worked on climate change adaptation, disaster risk reduction, and early warning systems in Nepal and South Asia. Previously, he served as program manager for climate change and disaster risk management and Helvetas Swiss Intercooperation Nepal. His academic honors and awards, Dr. Uprety has been official delegate from government of Nepal since COP26 and served as an international council member for the International Union for Forest Research organizations. Dr. Raj has research focuses on forestry, rural livelihoods, and climate resilience. He has published extensively on Western disturbance and climate change impacts in Himalayas region. His education is Dr. Raj holds a PhD in forest management and rural livelihoods from University of Natural Resources and Life Science, Vienna, Austria, and completed his postdoctorate in applied and landscape ecology at the Kries University of Life Science, Prague.
Thank you, Fahimul. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to Tanuja. Tanuja, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay. So please introduce our final panel member, Dr. Mihir R. Bhatt.
Good evening to all. It's my privilege to introduce Dr. Mihir R. Bhatt, who is a director, All India Disaster Mitigation Institute, Ahmedabad, India, and Haisa. His professional experiences include, he is the founder and director of the All India Disaster Mitigation Institute. With over 2 decades of experience, he has also led initiatives on disaster risk reduction, climate resilience, and community-based adaptation. His work focuses also on extreme heat, on small businesses, family farms, and urban resilience. Talking about his academic honors and awards, Dr. Bhatt is a senior fellow of the Harvard Humanitarian Initiative and has served on panels selecting United Nations humanitarian coordinators. He was recently invited to join the independent panel of the INGO Accountability Charter. His research interests include focuses basically on urban resilience, gender, and disaster risk reduction. He has published extensively, including work on women and disasters and disaster insurance for urban resilience. His education includes an advanced degree in disaster management and has been a key contributor to global initiatives on climate compatible development. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tanuja. Thank you so much. Special thanks to Sadia, Fahimul, and Tanuja. Very last moment, you very quickly done the work. Actually, we have very limited time. Sir,
Just
please.
a minute. Yeah, Dr. Mohan, actually, in view of the fact that we are getting late and also there will be time for Sahari, maybe around 6 o'clock in the evening. So I would like to request all the panelists to slightly compress their talk from 15 minutes to 10 minutes, if possible. That will be better. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, please start. Yeah, Doctor, I think.
Thank you, sir, for your notes.
Mavalankar,
Now I'd like to request Dr. Dileep Mavalankar. Sir, please.
Thank you very much. Can I have the first slide? As we have very little time, I would like to quickly go over. Who is going to present the slides from your side, sir?
Can you share the Dr. Mohan?
It is already in the email, right?
Yeah, it is sent.
Okay, you have to
I
open
can
the email
also try to share, but sometimes my slides doesn't
Let
work
me share
from
quickly.
here.
Probably it would be faster from my side, maybe.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is working, sir. But it is, thank you, slide.
That's the last slide, I think, but that's, this one. Okay. What I'm going to talk about is our experience of a major heat wave in Ahmedabad in 2010 and how the city developed the heat action plan. Can you put it on full screen, sir?
Yeah,
and we go to the next slide, and how the city developed the heat action plan and what are the key lessons from it. First slide, please. Yeah. If you go back one slide, in 2010, 2010, you see here, on 21st of May, the temperature in Ahmedabad reached almost 47 degrees. Normally, it is between 40 to 44 degrees. But there was a major heat wave 2010 and it reached 47 degrees. Next slide. So what we did was took the data of all-cause mortality from the city registrar of birth and death. Ahmedabad has reasonably good death registration. So not heat-related, but all-cause mortality. And here you see that as the temperature went up, the all-cause mortality also went up. And instead of 100 deaths every day, we had 310 deaths on that day. Next slide, please. If you put both these together, you get a graph like this. So when the heat peaked on 21st of May 2010, the mortality also peaked from 100 to 300. And the excess mortality in the week of the heat wave as compared to the year before and year after was 800 additional deaths. So this shocked the city. Nowhere in South Asia it was reported that such large mortality can happen during 1 week of heat wave. Of course, such numbers were reported from Chicago in 1995 and from Europe in 2003. Next slide, please. When we looked at the number of people registered as heat stroke death in the 5 major city hospitals, it was only 76. So what it showed that the mortality because of heat wave is like an iceberg. What get registered in the hospitals is only 1/10 of what is really the excess mortality. So as compared to 800, only 76. Next slide, please. Then we looked at last 15 years of daily maximum temperature, which is on the horizontal axis, and daily number of deaths in the city of Ahmedabad. And you see this scatter diagram, and looking at this fitted curve, we decided 3 thresholds with the city government, 41 degrees, 43 degrees, and 45 degrees. 45 as red alert, 43 as orange alert, and 41 as yellow alert for Ahmedabad city. Next slide. So this was impact-based thresholds. Using this, we helped the city to develop the heat action plan, which has 4 major components: early warning system and interagency collaboration and response, public awareness and community outreach, capacity building of medical professionals to deal with heat emergency cases, and reducing heat exposure and promoting adaptive behavior. Next slide. So the IMD provides early warning, 5-day advance early warning of temperatures in the city in the month of in the summer months, which reach the municipal nodal officer, and then depending upon the level of alert, yellow, orange, or red, he informs the press, the media, and various departments of the government. And the heat action plan has written down guidelines for each department to take action and for public guidance, for public awareness. Next slide, please. The second intervention is public awareness. So city developed various in-person public awareness for slums and poor communities, public awareness messages on rickshaws, on posters and banners, and what to do in local language during the heat season and during alerts. Next slide. There were also training program held, short training program held for the medical officers of the urban health centers and the hospitals of the government, so that their knowledge is refreshed and they can handle the heat emergencies and avoid mortality in the hospitals and health centers. Next slide. There was the fourth intervention of reducing heat exposures. So keeping the municipal garden open in the afternoon, developing green plantations wherever possible, providing free cold drinking water in many places in the city, as well as in recent years, cool roof through painting initiatives of painting roofs of slums white color so that it reflects heat and provides some reduction in indoor temperatures. Next slide. I'm just quickly showing you, after implementation of this plan, the impact was assessed in 2013 to 16, because the plan got implemented in 2013 onwards, and the graph shows the relative risk of mortality in relation to the maximum temperature in Ahmedabad. You will see that beyond 44 degrees, the red graph and the black graph varies. The red graph is pre-heat action plan years and black graph is the post-heat action plan years. And this paper is also published, which shows that almost 1,190 deaths were saved in each heat season after the heat action plan. Next slide, please. The 5 major hospitals of the city, which has the surveillance for heat stroke cases and deaths, also showed substantial reduction in the cases and deaths as compared to 2010 and 2014 onwards, when the heat action plan was implemented. This graph shows that data. Next slide, please. So the key lessons are that the heat action plan can save lives even in emerging economies like India with moderate resources, and early warning system, which is the main topic of this seminar, is very vital for such heat action plans. Health and weather services must collaborate and share data with to understand the impact with health department, and also I would say work with the health department to analyze jointly the health and mortality data and the weather data. Simple analysis, which I showed you with basic data on a map, temperature, mortality, morbidity can give you threshold analysis and can be used for practical purposes to alert people. The heat action plan must be locally adapted and should be simple to implement. Western countries have developed heat action plans in Chicago and America in the 90s and 2003 onwards in Europe. And we looked at those plans and adapted them to locally whatever possible actions were there. Next slide, please. Secondly, don't wait for a perfect plan. Start from whatever you can. No plan is perfect. Hence, annually, each plan should be reviewed and improved based on local realities, resources, and new knowledge. And involvement of all stakeholders is very vital. The city government has 3 wings, the technical wing of the health department and other technical departments, then the commissioner, which is the administrative officer, and the political wing, the mayor. So we involved all of them. We involved the weather service. Ahmedabad has a regional weather station, NGOs, academics, and all other government departments. Then measurement of the impact of the plan every 3 to 5 years is very important to see whether the plan is really working and whether the mortality and morbidity because of heat waves is coming down. Finally, advocacy at state and national level helped us to scale up. This was the first threshold-based heat action plan in India. Of course, Orissa had developed a statewide heat action plan before Ahmedabad. And then learning from Ahmedabad and Orissa, the heat action plans are now being replicated throughout India. Now there are more than 250 heat action plans in various cities and districts with the help of National Disaster Management Authority and with the Health Department of Government of India and local authorities. Next slide, please. So this is what it shows, that if we can use the local data and develop a local plan which can be improved every year, within 10 years, we can achieve substantial success even in a large country like India. Thank you very much. I thank all the partners. I'll not go into the detail. IMD is there. We have been blessed with very good directors of IMD. LS Rathod sir was there, and before that, Tyagi sir also helped us in this effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dileep Mavalankar sir, for your nice and very effective presentations. Of course, we will take question answer sessions and end of the panel discussion. Now, I'd like to request Dr. Naresh ji, please.
Thank you.
Yeah, Naresh Kumar ji, please.
I hope screen is visible.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Perfect.
Thank you. Namaskar. I will start from about the climatology of the temperatures over India. In general, we say heat wave season start from March, then June, and sometimes it goes up to July also. And in March, generally we experiences high temperatures over the North Peninsular India and adjoining area, then starting some parts of, you can say, Gujarat, Chhattisgarh, and Odisha. Then we will come to the Aprils. We experiences majorly Peninsular India, then Central India, more temperatures. And May is the warmest month. So in general, we experiences more than 40 degree Celsius temperatures over the most part of the country, starting from, you can say, northwest, central, and joining North Peninsular India, and even East India also. And in June, generally, monsoon.
Sir, excuse me. The slides are not moving.
Yeah. Yes. Sir, make full presentation.
Yeah. Is it visible, na?
Yeah, now
Can you make it
maximum
full
temperature
screen?
climatology slide.
Yeah, I am talking about that one. And in the month of June, and monsoon set over the peninsular India. So generally we experience is a heat wave over northwest and joining central India only. So this is there are the different definitions about the heat wave over the different part of the country, different part of the world. But in India, we consider firstly, for the plains, threshold should be more than 40 degrees Celsius, and for the coastal stations, 37, and for the hilly station, it should more than 30 degree. Then we see the departure from the normal. If it is more than 4.5, then we will say heat wave. Then it is more than 6.5 or 6.5, then we will say severe heat wave. And another criteria specifically that occurs generally in month of May, when the temperatures are more than 45 degrees Celsius, then also we say the heat wave, and it is more than 47, then it is a severe heat wave conditions. Regarding the warm night, same criteria, it should be more than 40 degree for the plains and 30 degree for the hills and 37 for the coastals, and minimum departure we consider it should be more than 4.5 for the warm night and more than 6.5 or 6.5 for the severe warm night. And we declare there should be at least 2 stations in the meteorological subdivisions, and we declare heat wave on the second day of occurrence of this criteria. So this is a climatology about the heat wave starting from March to June. Generally, we experience maximum number of heat wave days over northern part of the country. You can say over northwest India, Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, South Haryana, then southern part of Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, then Vidarbha regions, then Odisha, North Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Bihar regions. And if you talk about the North Peninsular India, we experience coastal Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and majorly Vidarbha regions heat wave conditions. And in general, as per the previous studies, El Nino years, we experience more number of heat waves as compared to the La Nina years. Now, if you see the climatology of the past few years, now we are experiencing more number of heat wave days, specifically over East India. And if you see the March climatology, generally March, we experience very less number of heat wave days, 1 to 2 days over Gujarat or somewhere over 1 to 2 days over Odisha. But nowadays, from 3-4 years, we are experiencing more than 4-5 days heat wave over these regions. Till now, we have experienced 4-5 days heat wave over Gujarat, and even Odisha also we have experienced 3-4 days heat wave along with Vidarbha, and we experienced heat wave over Konkan also in this season so far. So this is about that is trend of the heat wave frequency. Generally, it is increasing. You can see here red triangles, and that is indicating the increasing trend, significant increasing trend. We're experiencing significant increasing trend over northwest and central India, even south peninsular India also. And here, if you see, that is the foothills of Himalayas, that it is showing the decreasing trend in the heat wave. But in general, if you see the trend of the frequency of heat waves or heat wave days, they are increasing globally, as well as same thing is seen in our Indian regions also. So there are various factors that contribute heat waves. That is, one is soil moisture plays an important role. Whenever in general, whenever there is a decrease in soil moisture, the maximum temperature increases, and vice versa. And similarly, if you talk about the urban heat island effect, that is also there majorly in the major cities of the India. So that this is a general effect of the temperatures. So just for the heat wave forecasting, for the early warnings. So firstly, what we should know about the climatology, then what are the favorable meteorological features under which it occurs. Then we take the numerical guidance. Then finally, we issue the warning starting from short to medium range. And that I will brief you in the coming slides. So this is just I have consider the case of March heat wave, a March and April heat wave during 2022, which was very, very much unusual. And that time, generally, we don't experience heat waves over Northwest India, but that times we experienced 13 days heat wave over West Rajasthan, even Madhya Pradesh, and even that is over Himachal also we experienced 11 days heat wave. And similarly, we have experienced in that is in April was also similar pattern. And if you talk about other adjoining area in Pakistan also, that time temperatures was reaches in the month of March up to 43 to 45 degrees Celsius. Anyway, if you see, the major reason is, you can say, whenever there is no rainfall, so possibility of rising temperature is more. You can see here in second slide anomaly of the that is rainfall. You can see the subdued rainfall starting from entire Himalayas and Northwest India. So that was the major reason. So this was just we have analyzed what is the major cause of the heat waves. Certainly, what we have experienced is that is that is a blocking high, that is anticyclonic flow over Northwest India at 200 HPA. You can see here that is there. Another is there was an anticyclonic flow was there over again at 500 HPA also over Pakistan and adjoining Northwest India. And at the surface, there was a trough of flow. So these are some favorable conditions about the heat wave over any part of the country. Here, generally, if you see all the major heat wave occurs in any part of the world that is contributed by the that is the anticyclonic flow at 200 HPA. So this is about same thing. And another thing, so this is so that we have analyzed why there was again there was a high temperatures that is later to low precipitations. Then low precipitation was related to there were less WD. There was almost no WD, which has caused weather over the plains of Northwest India. Whatever the WDs occurs, there were 6 feeble western disturbance during the March, but all WDs have caused very light precipitation over that is the northern part of Himalayas only. So rainfall was very much subdued over Himalayan region, and there was no rainfall activity over the plains of Northwest India. Then further we have analyzed what was the reason behind it. That was generally in the month of March, the position, anyway, western disturbances, as everyone knows, is related to the jet stream, position of the jet stream. Jet stream position is generally around about 28 degree in the month of March, but it shifted towards north and it was around what 33 or 35 degree north, and as a result there was no WD which has caused any significant weather over the Indian region as well as the Pakistan regions. And further we analyze what was the reason behind it. Further we analyzed was fine. We have found that the North Pole temperatures during the month of March was 6 to 8 degree above normal. That was the reasons. So due to high temperature of the North Pole, jet stream shifted towards the north as compared to its normal position. That was the major cause of the heat wave over Northwest India, or you can say Pakistan region during March 2022. So this is another example. This is of 2023. Here also there was you can see in the first figure that is we have NWP GFS analysis chart. You can see a trough of low over East India, and another you can see there was a trough over East India. Another there was anticyclonic circulations over the central and adjoining Northwest Bay of Bengal, and due to that one winds, you can see here there was I have drawn a circle, red circles. That was the wind confluence wind coming from the anticyclonic circulations and wind over East India. So another, if you see the 700 HP chart, there was an anticyclonic flow at wind speed more than 14 knots was observed over this region. Again, this is a favorable. Either this, if you see that this trough over East India, that was a dry trough. Whenever the trough is dry, that is a favorable for the heat wave. And another part, you can see there is anticyclonic circulation of that is the Bay of Bengal that carries the moistures towards the East India, and there was a wind confluence over specifically, you can see over Odisha and adjoining areas. So there was a weather activity along with the thunderstorm or hailstorm activity, and wherever there was no moisture feeding, so that favors the heat wave over that reasons. So this is the temperatures, particular temperatures we have noticed. Generally, heat wave was observed over. In that case, there was a trough specifically over West Bengals, then Bihar, then adjoining Jharkhand, and another reason there was a precipitation activity, specifically over coastal part of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. So this is another example about the that is severe heat wave occurred in June 2023, specifically over East India, and it has caused casualty also over UP and Bihar. So just I want to highlight what was the favorable meteorological conditions here. If you see the 200 HPA, there was an anticyclonic flow that favors the heat wave over the regions, and over East India, starting from 500 HPA, even up to 925 HPA, there was a strong wind, more than 20 knots wind was there, and along with that, we see a dry trough over East India starting from 850 and 925 HPA. That was a very much favorable feature for the heat wave over East India, and this is a total time period when we have experienced very severe heat wave, and we have given the red alert over that region, and that was starting from 14 June to 19 June. And this was 500 HPA, you can see here, that was almost anticyclonic flow over East India that has favored the heat wave over the regions. And this is the 200 HPA, as I have mentioned earlier, anticyclonic flow that favors the heat wave over the regions. Thereafter, one that is a cyclonic storm before Zoe that forms over Arabian Sea, and that has broken the anticyclonic flow over East India on the 19th of June. As a result, heat wave wittered over this region after the 19th June. So this is just about some favorable features, and this is just I have put the what were the observed heat wave days in 2023 and 24 here. Also, if you see the figures, you can see maximum heat wave we are observing over 2023 and 24. We have observed over East India majorly. Now I will come to our heat wave warning process. How we issue heat wave to short range to seasonal forecast. So firstly, we have issue short range up to 3 days, then medium range up to 7 days. Then we issue the extended range forecast starting from week 1 to week 4. Then we issue the seasonal forecast that is for 1 month. Then for the seasonal as a whole, just for the heat wave, we issue it in the month of March, for March, April, June. Then again, we will issue in the month of April, for April, May, June. So this is our procedure of issuing the heat wave warning starting from short range to seasonal forecast. And we consider 7 numerical NWP models issue our forecast. Initially, as I have mentioned, we see the synoptic features, current features, then thereafter we take the guidance of the NWP models, and finally we issue our forecast that is short to medium range. So that warning issue to the almost all the related agency, MHA, NDMA, SDMA, all chief secretaries, even district magistrate, then all different department, agriculture department, Indian Railway, road transport, and many more. And these warning will be disseminated through emails. Then we create dedicated website page during March to June in our website for the heat wave guidance only. Then we issue through Common Alert Protocol, WhatsApp, Facebook, and Twitters. So this is a various product related to the heat wave forecasting, but that we keep in our websites. That is observed maximum temperatures, and its last 5 days observed maximum temperatures, and its forecast for next 5 days. Then similarly for minimum temperatures, about relative humidity, wind speeds. Then we calculate heat index, that is based on NOAA formula, experimental based only. Then we calculate 90, 95, and 98 percentile of the maximum temperatures and minimum temperatures. And finally, considers all products. We issue the impact-based warnings considering all these products. Then its persistence, and considering that we different color code warning in yellow, orange, and red alerts. So these are the various products here. That is humidity, all the parameters that we calculate, keep in websites and use for the weather forecastings. So this is the example of our probability forecast of the maximum temperatures that we have issued March to May. Here, what forecast we have issued, generally we are expecting above normal temperature over the most part of the country, except South Peninsular India. And similarly, for if you talk about the number of heat wave days also, we are expecting the above normal heat wave likely over the most part of the country, except Northeast, extreme North India, and Southwestern and South part of Peninsular India. So similarly,
sir, may I request to make it a bit quickly?
Okay, okay. Similarly, we are expecting above normal minimum temperatures, and this is the probability forecast for maximum temperature for March, that we're expecting the above normal temperature over the most part of the country, and same thing we are experiencing. And we told there will be above normal heat wave days, and same thing we are already have experienced till now. Generally, climate is 1 to 2 heat wave days. Already we have, as I have mentioned, 4 to 5 days heat wave days over Gujarat, Odisha, and Maharashtra, and some other part of the country. So this is about our extended days forecast. Here we issue the forecast for 7 days. As per this forecast, we were not expecting any significant heat wave during this week due to the thunderstorm activity specifically occurring of the East India. And week 2, we are expecting there will be a less number of western disturbances which will cause the weather, and there will be a below rainfall activity over Northwest India, East India, and as a result, temperature is likely to be above normal over Northwest and East India. What we are not expecting, the temperature will cross 40 degrees over Northwest India, and so our heat wave zone for the week 2 may be probably over East India only, that we have mentioned here in our bulletins. So this is just examples. We issue the subdivision multi-hazard warning for next 7 days, just like we have given a red alert. As we have mentioned, we consider giving the alerts, maximum temperature, minimum temperature, humidity, and wind. Considering all factors, we have given the red alerts for Gujarat states for the few days. Here, the maximum temperature was also very much above normals. There was a severe heat wave conditions. Along with that, there was a warm night conditions, as well as humidity was also nearly moderate over these regions. So as a result, we have given the red alert for these reasons, and this is a examples, that is a district-wise forecast issued by our meteorological centers. So this is the first example about of 12th June. We have given the red alert for the Saurashtra Kutch. So this is the final slide about our heat wave forecast verification. Generally, our accuracy even up to day 5 is probability of detection is around about 60%. Yeah, thank you very much.
Sir, thank you so much for your very precise and important heatwave related presentations. So it is really important for all of us.
Thank you.
So actually our time is very limited, and due to Ramadan, many are joining to their iftar party. Now I'd like to request Dr. Dharam Raj Uprety to present his presentation. Yeah, sir, please.
Can you share my screen?
Yeah, it is coming.
Okay, so
yeah, it is fine.
Oh, I'm just taking it to the int
Yeah.
the mode.
Make it slideshow mode if possible.
Well, thank you. So all protocol observed, because of the limitation of the time, I'll be brief. So science is very clear. All the scientists from Indian Meteorological Department, comprised from Dr. Mohapatra to Dr. Dileep, all you have already clarified what heat wave is. But my role is I'm here how to communicate this complex science to the citizens so that this complex physical science can be understandable to the communities. So I'm just talking about the risk communication. So just highlighting on who am I. I'm working in practical action. Practical action is a international non-government organization established in 1966 and then globally evolving. In the past it was like ITTG, and now it's the practical action serving in 11 countries. We are working in four different areas: energy that transform, farming that work, resilience that protect, and cities fit for people. So these are working area, and I represent climate and resilience. So our approach of communication are, and then working in early warning system. Basically, we work in three different approaches. One, integrating science and technology in the system. So data detection system that already the earlier
Sir, your slides are not moving. Excuse me. Your slides, you're on the first slide itself. Your slides are not moving. Can you put it on full screen, please?
Okay, so let me. I thought it's already there. Can you see now?
Now perfect. Now, yeah. It is now slide number 4.
Okay, so it's
but put
there.
it on full screen.
I don't know where is that. So I thought it's already full screen. Any hint?
That's okay. Otherwise, we can continue.
I think continue better. Time is issue.
Okay. So thanks. So integrating science, we already mentioned. We have lack of adequate data detection system at a high mountain area. That's why we cannot observe except the satellite observation at what is happening in the high mountain. For example, the temperature change in the high mountain area. So that is what we are doing or advancing gradually. Then integrating those data received from different weather stations into the government system. So we work closely with the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology. And then as a part of risk communication, we have installed and continue installing multi-hazard automatic siren so that when trigger are made, then committee could get information on time. So at an institutional level, we work closely, as I mentioned, with local disaster management committee, district disaster management committee, provincial disaster management committee to build their capacity and to work them so that they could respond the disaster. So science is clear. So how to respond those science generated data when the certain threshold are met. So that is what we work. And then empowering communities, working with them, form the community disaster management committee at different community levels, and then build their capacity by different means. One of the measures I'd like to highlight, otherwise I'll be brief. So community climate resilience measurement for communities is a tool that we have been utilizing. This is the tool developed by Zurich Climate Resilience Alliance. So it's an alliance working in many countries around the globe, and then we understand the risk consumption capacity of the community. What is the state of art at a local levels in terms of knowledge, education, skill? That means human capitals and social network, interrelationship, bonds to each others, and then financial capital, their level of variability, income, and whether they are capable enough to observe any shocks or stresses that is coming. And then natural capitals, of course, the level and degree of natural capital that they have. So all those, based on those diversity, we feed those into the system, and then we collect information from the communities, whether the community is capable enough. If not, then what is needed in A community or B community or C community, based on their grading of CRMC, we will design, and we design the interventions for resilience. And then CRMC, there are different questions to ask to the communities, whether the physical capitals are, good enough at a community level, whether the livelihoods are at a birds of, impacts or others, and then how the level of exposure of a communities. All those we collect information, and then accordingly we design interventions for the communities. And then we also look like the robustness of the actions, the ability to withstand a shock, redundancy, the functional diversity at a community levels, and then the resourcefulness, whether the community or the local government is capable enough to respond the shocks arose from the, and then of course the rapidity, the ability to contain losses and recover from the timely manner. So the definition already there. So we are advancing in terms of heat wave. So this heat wave is coming, and it is likely to above normal temperature in this summer. So according to the Indian Meteorological Department, the definition there already covered, so I'm not going into that. So this is our ecosystem, how we work at a community levels, and then we work in all 4 pillars of early warning system. Starting from the knowledge, the hazardous knowledge, whether the communities, what is the level of exposure, what is the level of what hazards that communities are exposed to, and vulnerability. Because Nepal is not a single hazard exposed country; it's a multi-hazard exposed country. So we have different hazards. So considering heat and just fit heat in it, and then heat monitoring. So heat is expected. So the government meteorological department, they issue heat bulletin, and that has started like since 3-4 years prior, and this has been continuing. And then according to Met authorities, we also build capacity of the local communities, whether they are they understand the threshold. What does they mean? What does it mean if the temperature of a particular region exceed 40 degrees or above in 3 or 4 days, or 2 or more days, or 2 or more stations? That we work closely with the communities, and accordingly, then we build their capacity, and then they apply the heat action plan, what they prepared, the SOPs, standard operating procedures that are prepared, they apply at a local levels. So this is the all ecosystem. So I'm not going into details. So these are the heat bulletin issued by the department, and when the heat bulletins are issued, when the thresholds are met, and then the local communities activate their different task force, early warning task force, communication task force, and then accordingly the communities prepare and then design their anticipatory actions or forecast-based actions. Yeah, I'm not going into details. So these are how the forecasts are, disseminated, communicated to the communities from the metro authorities, and then how communities understand. So our role is build capacity of the community, build capacity of the local government, local disaster management committee, and so. So these are the suggested measures as per the SOPs. Avoid heat exposure, wear lightweight and light color, loose cotton clothes, and cover your head, and something, all those what are mentioned. And that is something around impact-based forecasting that Indian Meteorological Department often issued through their bulletin as well. So, I mean, these are the way forward to minimize risk, heat stays, customized heat early warning system, public cooling centers, urban design that fit for purpose. Then green city, of course, that is coming up so vibrant, and building materials that is, as already mentioned, like heat reflection of the building that could reflect the heat and cool down. And many literature are saying like there is a possibility to cool down by 10 degrees. So that is really important in the context of global temperature rise. And then water conservation and the protection of ecosystem that are really the part of the actions. So as I mentioned, these are the part of community, and we work to make community ready to respond of any kind of hazards, including heat. Thanks. I stop here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dharmji. Very much related to the community approach. It is really very helpful. Now it is time for taking question from all the distinguished participants. Now I would like to request Dr. Madan Sigdelji to moderate the session. Over to you, Dr. Madanji.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Mohan. I'm here to moderate the question and answer session. So I think the time is very limited. So I like the participants. If you have any question, quickly arise your question with our excellent panelists, Professor Mavalankar, Dr. Kumar, and Dr. Uprety. If not, I will start with one question. I think we have listened the excellent presentation from our three panelists. So one my query is how can we reduce the gap for early warning, and how can we work together for making climate resilient society in South Asia? So may I ask this to Dr. Uprety?
Yeah, thanks. So it's a brilliant questions. Thank you very much for asking these questions. Of course, the UN already declared early warning for all initiative by 2027. So this is really, important step that the UN has taken in the ecosystem of early warning system, and WMO and all WMO centers, member countries, they are preparing for that. But quite often we heard and then we confront with the data. So transparent data sharing, that is essential to make early warning for all. Then strengthening data detection system, that is currently advancing, particularly for the country of like Nepal. We are facing data limitation for a high mountain area, and even we don't have the clear outline of definition. For example, what is the temperature threshold for Tarai, or then the mid hills, Surya regions, and mountain, mid mountain, and then high mountain. So we should have those the protocol threshold for each hazards, not only the single hazard, and then for heat, of course, being our level of exposure. So country to country, G to G communication, science to communities communication, physical science to citizen science, all those approaches are really important to make early warning for all. I stop here.
Thank you. And now we have another question in the chat box from K. Nagarajan. So I think I like to request Dr. Kumar to respond this one. Can we consider that third world countries are treated as dustbins for developed countries? What do you have to say, Dr. Kumar?
Sorry, will you repeat the question, please?
So one of participants, Dr. K. Nagarajan, said that can we consider that third world countries are treated as dustbins from the developed countries? I think in the sense of this resilience and early warning system. So I think you can proceed with that.
I could not get it basically. What do you want to ask?
I think this is more like a political question rather than a scientific question. And opinions can differ from person to person. And I disagree with that statement. So anyway, that's my personal opinion.
So one question from Mukhopadhyay. Clearly, our notion of heat wave relates to the heat from the atmosphere. Thus, maximum temperature is a studied parameter, but the human body not able to lose heat to the environment, becoming the cause of heat stress, is actually never contention. Can't we rectify? So one of the panelists, can you respond?
Yeah, my sense is we should also, especially for coastal areas, start using heat index or moisture, because in coastal areas the temperature doesn't go so high, but because moisture is very high, the body sweat doesn't evaporate and body doesn't cool. So even at the temperature much lower than even 45 or 40 degrees, people can develop heat stroke. And that is what happened in the New Bombay incident where 15 people died in a public meeting. So I think we have to also consider humidity along with maximum heat. Second is we didn't have time, but Ahmedabad data analysis also showed that nighttime temperature, if you have high daytime temperature, say 40 above, but the night is cooler, less than 28 degrees, the mortality doesn't rise so much. But if the nighttime temperature is warm, more than 30 degrees, and daytime is more than 45 degrees, then the mortality rises very rapidly. So combination of high daytime temperature and warm nights is more deadly than high daytime and cool nights. So that also, and in urban heat island effect, nighttime temperature likely to go up much more. Thank you.
So another question from Dr. Vinod. What are the major shortcomings in our understanding of heat waves today? Where should the research progress so as to enable both science and early warning? What is the most important challenge? Any specific suggestion to young researchers?
Yeah, as sir has already mentioned, we are giving our color code warning considering maximum, minimum, even humidity, wind also. But this is subjective. We need objective methods, just like NOAA has developed. They have calculated heat index for US. We need some index for the Indian regions. That is not developed so far. So that is a major drawback. We need to do it.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kumar. Another question is related to the crops. So which is more lethal, boost in maximum temperature or minimum temperature?
As sir already mentions, even if you talk about the recent casualty also, as sir told, and even in as I have shown the case study of Bihar and that one, Uttar Pradesh. So minimum temperatures has very much more important role. So we have to see the mean temperatures. Whenever there is a high maximum temperatures, along with the high minimum temperatures, it has worse effect as per the studies also. So similarly, I think KK Singh sir is there also. He can comment about the crops also. So probably the both temperatures are high, it has more impact.
Okay, I will take one more question. The question from Narajan.
One quick point that what temperature we are using, sir, is largely weather service station temperatures which are near the airport. So city centers or some of the slums may be already 2 to 7 degrees, 8 degrees higher than the weather service temperature. So that also we should keep in mind. And that is why we have been, as public health people, emphasizing that each city must report, like weather services reporting daily temperature, city must report all-cause mortality and whether it is normal or abnormal. Unfortunately, public health departments are not reporting daily all-cause mortality. That will be a good barometer for health of the city. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Mavalankar. Any other question? So yes, I have one question in the chat box. Another. What are the ancient methods of combating heat waves? Anyone can answer if you have. Ancient method means, I think, in the rural area or livelihood.
No, ancient methods, I would say, if you take a old city heritage walk in Ahmedabad city, you will see the way the whole city is constructed with wood, lime, and each building shading the other building. So all the nature-based solutions and construction technology was used to, plus each houses had water conservation because Ahmedabad is very arid and dry and less water. So underground water tanks to store rainwater harvesting. So there are many things which people did in those. When the Britishers, you must also think how Britishers survived when they came from England, which was 0 to 10 degrees to 35, 40 degrees, and fought wars here in the 1800, 1700. So they brought the sola hat with them to protect the head and the shoulder. So there are many things which were done. Of course, density of population were much less most of the places by then. But it's an interesting question we should explore.
Okay, thank you. So I think we don't have other questions. So I think I like to thank all the panelists, Professor Mavalankar, Dr. Kumar, and Dr. Uprety for their excellent presentation and then answering the questions. So now we can proceed. Dr. Mohan.
Thank you, Dr. Madan Sikdalji. Very nice. Now it is time to get an way forward. Now I would like to request Dr. Mihir Bhatt, who is the director and founder of the All India Disaster Mitigation Institute. You are welcome, sir. Please.
Thank you. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yes, loud and clear.
Good. No, Mohanji, thank you so much for this opportunity. I can't think of a better way of celebrating 150 years of IMD and World Meteorological Day than the way we have celebrated today. Not because what we've done is important, but what we've done is so relevant. And when I look at three ways where we are actively involved in addressing early warning at a learning level. What are we learning from early warning at global level? When I look at what at a global level, some of our work on risk transfer, and when I look at some of the work on greening humanitarian action through the Charter, what we have discussed today is of immense value and immense relevance and use. So I'm very glad that this celebration has taken place. The obvious way forward would be for SAMA, such a special organization, and HOISA to put together a note or a dossier about what is discussed, to share it with a wide range of the audience, including the participants here, but those who are making policies and making scientific research and innovation work. So that is something, Kayalji, if you could take lead and make sure that something concrete comes out of in terms of ideas that are captured here. I have taken notes here and have clustered them around 5 areas for research and action, balancing what Uprety ji and Mavalankar Saab said on the action part, but also balancing that with Ramesh ji, what you and Mohapatra Saab, what you said in terms of research and early warning that's going on. When I look at the 5 areas, and they are localized risk mapping, second is standardized heat alerts, third is universalized communication strategies, fourth is regionalized infrastructure of cooling solutions, and the fifth is community to community early warning leading to early action. So these are the 5 areas. What I find is that these are the ones who could help us move from extreme heat forecasting to cooling actions that we can take. So let me explain a bit in detail, not too much because we are short of time, but taking from what Dr. Mahapatraji said, heat action planning, almost 200 and more are coming, but local plans, not necessarily the way they are done. That's one way of doing it. Many other ways of doing it, and how actively we use early warning data to use the heat action plans at a slum level, at a village level, at a variety of other levels, sectoral, occupational. So how heat planning becomes far more integral to our day-to-day planning, and doing that using early warning. So that's one area I think there is a lot to be done. Second area is standardized heat alerts, and there we are finding out that there are nuances which need further. For example, Dr. Mavalankar so clearly showed us that coastal areas needs slightly more nuance. And within coastal area, if I may say so, I am not a meteorological scientist, but coastal area on land and the fisher folk at sea, there may be some temperature variation experienced there as well. So that sort of standardized heat alerts with the variation that we need, and that's an area both for action and research further seems very useful for South Asia. The third is universalized communication strategies. And Uprety ji, what you explained was not only the early warning, but its use, its utilization, sort of universal utilization for communication strategies. That how do you communicate the early warning so that it is used for the purpose to reduce the harm it may cause, in this case, extreme heat, which will reduce the impact on the individual and his or her surroundings. So that's the third area. And fourth is regionalized infrastructure of cooling solutions. Dr. Mohapatra very generously offered the science and technology that is available to India and has to make it available to a larger region to have far more active response to extreme heat and to be able to deal with that at a population level, citizen level. So that's the fourth area. And the fifth and last, of course, there is much longer list, but I'll stop at this as the top 5 areas, is the community engagement. And for example, what's done in Nepal, I'm sure is equally useful in Sri Lanka with a changed context, or Bangladesh, for example. Definitely in India, it is equally useful. So how this community to community early warning for anticipatory action becomes based on the scientific forecasting that is done. So these are the these are the 5 areas I think are extremely important to take further. I'd like to suggest that if we take these 5 areas together ahead, then South Asia can actually lead. It has the most experience of using early warning than any other region for extreme heat, at least. And so in that case, South Asia can actually lead the rest of the extreme heat suffering world in terms of making early warning in an anticipatory action on the ground. And that would something be terrific. So for that purpose, if these 5 areas are taken up by SAMA as well as HOISA to develop further, either in terms of roundtables or in terms of research work or in terms of whatever else it takes to take these areas further for concrete actions on the ground, that would be very useful. With that, I'd like to stop here, and I'd like to thank Tyagi Saab, especially you, your initiative, and here we are. So thank you for making this link, which was overdue. And Dr. Mohan Bhai, thank you. It's yours now. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your very nice and precise way forward. Now it is almost end of the program. Now time for vote of thanks. It is my great privilege to request Mr. Khayal Trivedi to provide vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Mohanji. And also, I mean, since we don't have a lot of time, I will not take much on this as well. But this could not have happened without the support of so many people who have worked together to accomplish this. That is the least to say. So, of course, first of all, thank you so much, Tyagi-ji, for your initiative, for bringing us together and to conceiving this idea of that we all could come together on this day, which is so important. Thank you so much also, Someshwarji, for all your continuous support, Ms. Chatushka Premachandra, Dr. M. Mohapatra, our chief guest, thank you so much for being here. Your presentation was much, much insightful and helpful for all of us. I'd also like to thank all our panelists today. So Professor Dileep Mavalankar, Dr. Naresh Kumar, Dr. Dharam Raj Uprety. All your contributions are extremely important, and we'll make sure that at the end of this panel discussion, we'll put together a brief report of what was discussed, and these ideas will be shared widely within the network as well. And thank you so much also, again, Dr. Madanji, Dr. Mihirji, and as well as Mohandas ji. I mean, without your moderation, your support, and your very fluid transitions, this wouldn't feel that smooth. So again, thank you so much. And most importantly, I think I forgot, to all the participants who came here on a Sunday afternoon and evening during Ramadan, it means a lot. And that just shows how passionate we are as people to make sure that there's some difference that comes up in dealing with heat waves. So most of all, thank you so much to everyone who's present here and who got some time off their calendars for this. So over to you, Mohanji.
With this, it is almost end of the session. And of course, it is a great celebration of 9 countries together. I think it is one of the milestone initiative by the SAMA and HOISA. So, of course, thank you. And as WMO Day is ongoing, today I also able to publish a small article. It is related to the over-reliance on foreign companies or service provider for weather early warning in South Asia. So, institution and human resource capacity is a challenge. So, I think we for this early warning, it is also a great note for all. So, thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Namaskar. It was really a great session. Thank you. You can shut down the YouTube.
Thank you very much. Have a nice
YouTube
evening.
recording.
Yeah, please delete the YouTube.